In a galaxy of summer blockbusters, does Pixar's Elio get beamed to the top?
Let's talk about it.
DadToons reviews, talking something new. DadToons reviews, I'ma mention peer review. DadToons reviews, we're talking about it all. You're being busy, dizzy, television, big and small.
All right, so this time we saw Elio a couple days ago. Normally we would record this just after seeing the movie. So we've had a couple days for to let it simmer here, and now we're going to talk all about the super spoilerific details of this film.
Elio is a movie about a little boy named Elio, and he lives with his aunt, and he desperately wants to be abducted by aliens. He is bullied at home and things like that, and then he's abducted by aliens, and they think he is the leader of Earth, and he has to defeat this bad guy in space. And he befriends the bad guy's son, and a bunch of adventure stuff happens. A bunch of space adventure stuff happens.
And then the movie ends.
And then the movie's over. Yeah.
All right.
There's a big scene in like a hangar, like an army hangar. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
that's a spoiler. So that's my summary.
We already got past our spoiler alert. So
that's my summary.
Let's talk about our first impressions. What were your first impressions of this movie?
I really thoroughly enjoyed Elio. I thought it was a ton of fun, and I left the theater feeling good. I was excited. It excited me. Right after I left the theater, I felt excited. I'll leave it at that.
Don't tell me how. But my first impressions, going in, the very first thing that you kind of take in, I noticed mysterious space music. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. So that was my first impression. Just the first thing I really noticed, they were really turning up the mystery, that kind of thing. So I enjoyed that. Other thing that you get right off the bat is that he's with his aunt, and they're in the cafeteria at her work, which is kind of like NASA, but it's not NASA, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, does he not have a mom? Because this is his aunt. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then, of course, they throw in, there's a line that you overhear as Elio's under the table and she's talking to somebody else. Oh, I heard about your brother and his wife. I'm so sorry. So right off the bat, we know that this kid is a new Disney orphan. That's great.
Yes, Disney loves their orphans. They keep destroying families. Disney keeps destroying families to make their films, and we keep going to see it. So, who's the real bad guy?
I guess. Are people going to see this movie? I don't know.
That's a fair question. I saw a lot of articles saying Pixar's trying to bury Elio, which I don't think that's true.
I don't know. It is weird that it came out so soon after How to Train Your Dragon live action, less than a week that was in theaters. And then now we have Elio. And a lot of the videos titles that I've been seeing, I try and avoid watching other reviews until we get ours out. So that way, I'm not getting influenced by anybody else. But the titles I was seeing was like, did you even realize that Elio has come out? And that's basically what all the titles said.
But to your point about the music, the general vibe of this movie, I really enjoyed. It kind of gave me a little bit of 80s, 90s kids adventure movie, like the Goonies, or even a little bit of Back to the Future kind of feeling.
Definitely E.T. This is
without a doubt, E.T.
I don't want to use the word derivative yet, but it is very influenced by a lot of, and it's not just E.T., a lot of 80s movies, which is great. It's using a lot of, it has a lot of science fiction tropes. It has a lot of homages to science fiction movies. There are lots of specifics that we'll get into in a second, but very much it's leaning on those kind of things.
For sure. So let's get to it. Yeah, the word is derivative, and I think that's a fair word. And I made another list.
Okay.
I had fun with this list because first I was thinking movies where a child befriends an alien.
Okay.
But then I was missing a lot of the movies that I like. So this is movies where a child befriends a sci-fi or fantasy creature. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Lilo and Stitch, The Iron Giant, Flight of the Navigator. Remember that movie? Have you ever seen Flight of the Navigator? It's really good. Pee Wee Herman voices a spaceship.
Okay, cool.
Earth to Echo, Bumblebee, Monster Trucks, Astro Boy, Big Hero 6, Pete's Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon, My Neighbor Totoro, and Little Bigfoot. These are all movies where a child befriends a sci-fi or fantasy creature. So this is a very common thing that happens in children's movies.
Yeah, probably because it's like, okay, so this character who is either sheltered or they want to get out of a situation or something like that. They're misunderstood by the rest. And this is we could make a whole other list of children who are misunderstood in
that would be a very long list.
It's pretty much like almost all of them. But yeah, it's usually like a child who's misunderstood meets this mystical creature and enters another world, and learns about things that all the adults don't,
Yeah. So in screenwriting, there's a thing called the hero's journey, and it's basically the parts of the story that are like typical of any kind of like action adventure kind of story, like Star Wars is the prototypical example. And some movies are kind of just a copy paste hero's journey, like a homework assignment, hero is supposed to leave their comfort zone or whatever. Like you just kind of can fill it in if you want to. And that's pretty much what this movie is. It's kind of copy paste hero's hero's journey. Yeah. But I'll say, I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. I do think it was one of the funnier Pixar movies in a long time.
What does that mean? A lot of when you say that,
the jokes hit. There were good jokes.
There were some good jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, there were jokes.
Some. I'll tell you.
I found myself laughing a lot. Watching this movie.
I'll tell you, I did not find myself laughing a lot. There were certain moments where I did laugh out loud, and I'll just tell you that right now. What the first time that I laughed was when they're creating a clone of Elio, and he comes out and he goes, "What's my motivation?" He's like, it's clear he's an actor, he's like, he's got the whole actor aura here, and he's so excited to get to work. And that's probably my favorite part of the movie. He's like, "What's my motivation?" And then he goes, and then he's like, he's about to get in the fight with all the other kids, that are frozen in time. And he's like, "Ooh, now I'm ready to get punched in the face." It's really fun. Yes. And then the other parts,
everything with the clones. Yeah. Everything with the clones was cool.
Yeah, and then like the other part that I laughed at was when is also clone related. It's when the clone was like being the perfect boy, and he's outside like trimming the hedges and stuff, and one of the neighbors drives by and he goes, "Hey Jim, how's your back?" And he goes, "Same as always." And he goes, and Elio's like, "Tell me about it." But those are pretty much like the only times that I actually laughed out loud. Other than that, I'm like, I understand, like there's a lot of humor that they're trying to go for. For me, a lot of the time it didn't hit.
I think it was just the tone. Like for me, I enjoyed the tone, like from beginning to end. I was like on board, and I was like, yeah, some of this is cliche. Yeah, I've seen it somewhere, but I'm like riding the wave, and like it's fun and it's funny was kind of my feeling.
I guess my problem is that they kind of just halfway committed to the tone, because it's like right in between. Okay, we're trying to be comedy, and then we're trying to be like this sci-fi parody.
One thing I want to talk about is the similarities between this movie and Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
Like maybe it's on my mind, but the first similarity is Elio sounds a lot like Lilo. Like it's the same letters. Like
Lilo.
and then he's a little boy. He's a quirky little boy whose parents passed away, who's being raised by his family member, who befriends a weird alien, who goes to it like the communiverse. Like so much reminded me of where's the place that Stitch is from, like at the beginning of Lilo and Stitch.
Right, yeah, the intergalactic council that you see at the beginning.
Yeah, like I was the communiverse was giving me vibes from that.
Definitely. And that's also inspired from like, episode 1 Star Wars, when you have like the different diplomats and stuff, floating around in their pods in their circular building. In my notes, I wrote down it's basically just alien Hollywood squares. That's what it looks like, because they're all kind of stacked on top of each other.
That's funny.
In their little pods. Or it's kind of like the beginning of the Muppet Show.
Yeah. But Elio's similarities to Lilo, I think, end there. Beyond him befriending, being quirky, having dead parents, and befriending an alien, he's a lot more timid and like maybe self-aware than Lilo. Like he's neurotic and anxious.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Found relatable, and I liked that aspect of it. And it made it different enough that it does not feel like a ripoff of Lilo and Stitch, which it's definitely, it's walking a line of being a ripoff for a lot of things, honestly. But that's what happens when you simplify and do it super basic. You're gonna seem like a lot of things.
Yeah, but also
because you're all drawing from the same inspiration pool.
When you're saying simplify, are we referring to the fact that this is extremely short?
Sure. It's very short. It's very short. And I guess what I mean is like the story is pretty basic. It's like A happens, then B happens, C happens. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's
very linear. Yes. Yeah. So I mean that length and linearity. Yeah. That's what I mean when I say simple.
Yeah. So my thoughts on Elio as a person, the character, I like that he's quirky. I like that he's a dreamer, right? And he's very determined, and he won't give up, and he keeps trying and trying and trying. I like that. I can tell kind of what they're going for when they're like he kind of emotionally shuts out his aunt, because he doesn't think that she understands and all that, because his parents died, so it's like he's trying to like box himself in and close himself off so he doesn't feel any hurt.
And the aunt literally doesn't understand the secret language that he invented, Elioese.
Yeah. So let's talk about the aunt right now.
Okay.
What are your first thoughts about the aunt?
I think like a lot of things in this movie, she's like kind of a caricature. She's kind of simple. Like she definitely reminded me of Nani from Lilo and Stitch, just because she's put in a situation that she'd rather not be in, raising a child that she cares very deeply for, very much like Nani.
Does she care very deeply for him? Do we find that out until the end? This is my problem. Okay. she's very frustrated at the beginning, and there's not a clear reason why. Because Elio, he's not communicating exactly, but he's not like being bad like Lilo was being bad in Lilo and Stitch. He's not doing. He's not
causing trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not doing things that would elicit that sort of reaction. And so that frustrated me a lot, because I'm like, I get it when she's like, oh, I didn't think this was how my life would go. That's fine. But like, you realize this kid just lost his parents, right? Like, have a little bit of empathy, have a little bit of compassion. Come on.
Yeah. Good point.
And you're an adult and he's a kid, you know, like it's not like your siblings. So that's a difference there too. You know, they're not siblings.
Well, yeah, that is a big difference. So like, you're probably right. She probably did care less for Elio than Nani did for Lilo, because the sibling relationship is a lot different than the aunt nephew relationship. Like for sure, like.
Well, that's also why it kind of, to me, feels in the end like it was unearned when she was like, "Oh, all I want is you." Are you serious? You think so? I mean, okay, that's so like fair. Spoiler here, you know, there's the twist where Elio thinks that, you know, oh, she's happy with the clone because the clone is this perfect boy, and the twist is that we realize that the aunt was suspicious for a while. We don't know exactly when she became suspicious. Yes, that this wasn't actually Elio.
Yes, and she was like faking it.
Yeah, but she wasn't faking it at the beginning.
Yeah, my problem with that is I don't believe that she would be suspicious of it. I feel like she'd just be like, sweet.
So you're good. Sweet. Now my life is perfect, right? Yeah.
Exactly. This is the version of Elio I wanted.
Yeah.
Now I got it. Excellent. I don't think she would instigate. Like, I agree with you.
That's why I feel like it's unearned when she makes that turn, and like now she's the perfect aunt, the perfect guardian. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the ant. Let's talk about some aliens, I guess.
Oh, I loved Glordon. I was a big fan of Glordon. I loved him. The highlight of the movie, honestly.
Yeah, Glordon's a lovable little character for sure.
And when I say this is one of the funnier Pixar movies, I'm thinking of Glordon. He's one of the funnier Pixar characters, I think. I really liked him a lot.
I would say one of the funnier Pixar. I mean, I like the humor in that he's like such a immature child. So he's like got this childlike sense of wonder, and like he'll just say innocence. Yeah, he'll just say whatever like he's thinking and everything.
And he's very trusting.
Yes, very trusting. Yeah, I like Glordon a lot. Do you want to talk about his dad? Glordon's dad was what was his name?
Yeah, Brad Garrett. It's hard for me to not just think of him, and that is an issue I have with Brad.
Everybody
Garrett,
loves
honestly.
Raymond.
I just think of Brad Garrett, honestly. Like, his voice is so distinctive, and he doesn't really change it all that much. But yeah, what was the character's name?
The character's name was, I think it was Lord Grigon. I'm trying to find, Lord Grigon. Yeah.
I thought he was a decent villain. Again, like one-dimensional. Like, yeah. But he was cool. Brad Garrett was like, he was funny. I kind of thought all the characters were funny, maybe with the exception of the ant.
The thing about Brad Garrett is he's just naturally funny because his voice is funny, right? So he can say anything and it's funny.
They burrow into my head and they sit on my brain, poking the backs of my eyes.
His voice helps, yes, but I think he's a smart and funny person. A few episodes back, I theorized that Bill Hader was Pixar's new good luck charm, and so some of the DadTooniverse told us that Brad Garrett maybe is Pixar's new good luck charm. So I did a deep dive. I did such a deep dive for you. I dove so deep for you people. So Pixar has Brad Garrett in 5 of their movies. He's in A Bug's Life. He's in Finding Nemo. He's in Ratatouille.
You don't want to go.
He's in Finding Dory, and he's in Elio. So that's 5. In Finding Nemo, he was like one of the fish in the fish tank.
In the tank.
He was like the main fish in the fish tank.
So wait, he showed back up in the second one?
I don't know. He's in Finding Dory.
Shark bait, ooh la.
Yes, shark bait, ooh ah.
Shark bait, ooh la. Shark bait, ooh la. Shark bait.
So Bill Hader is also in 5 Pixar movies. So Bill Hader and Brad Garrett are tied.
It's a face-off.
I think that Bill Hader hasn't been in like a lot of the like very recent Pixar movies. Like he wasn't in this one.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in Inside Out 2. So I think maybe my theory of him being the new Good Luck Charm is debunked.
Busted!
Busted! Yeah, so we have a journalistic integrity here. So I'm happy to say that. I'm happy to expose my own bustings.
You're busting yourself.
Every time we say busting, there should be a picture of Candace. There should be Candace from Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
That's her whole thing, is that she's busting Phineas and Ferb. It's like,
you're busted, Mom.
I mean, Mom's gonna have a fit when she finds out you guys are building a roller coaster.
But yeah, Lord Grigon, he was great. Elio in the story, he's like, oh well, I'll go, patch things over with Lord Grigon, right? And that's how I'll become an ambassador in the Communiverse, and earn my stripes, right? So he goes, and one of the things that I really liked was how cartoonishly evil the ship was, Lord Grigon's ship.
Yes.
So I enjoyed that. There's like fire and lava and spikes and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I think one of the big highlights of this movie is the visuals. Like, I was like sitting fairly close to the screen, and I saw it in 3D, and it looked so good. Like, so many details, in particular when Elio is at his aunt's apartment.
Okay.
Like, just like tiny little details of her apartment really like sets the scene and creates the vibe. And then when they're like in space, like, there's so many cool little details to notice. Pixar's always good at that, and they're doing it especially well here, in my opinion.
Well, that's one of the things that we differ in, is that I didn't see it in 3D, so I didn't have that experience. Maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. I always do like seeing something in 3D because it does give a little bit different of an experience than it does like watching it at home.
I didn't know I was seeing it in 3D, and I never do. Like, I get there and they hand me glasses, and I'm like, okay,
I guess.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
What do I do with these?
How's it work?
So there were just a bunch of other random aliens, right?
Yeah.
Did any of those stand out to you, like, in particular?
There was like the leader alien, right? Who was like a little like small little guy,
the guy that had a weird voice was
yes. Yeah. I remember him. He was funny.
Yeah, I don't remember. I couldn't catch his name. It was really hard to understand him most of the time, because he had a weird effect going on his voice that was supposed to like make him alien like, but like I just couldn't understand.
Yeah, he was silly. I think this movie, more than most Pixar movies, and maybe this is why I keep saying it's funny or funnier than the other ones, is that it because it's so simple and derivative, and I agree that it is those things, they have fun with everything else. They have a lot of fun with the visuals. The characters are silly and ridiculous. A lot of the things are kind of over the top, and I liked that about it.
Well, here's one of my problems is like, okay,
Yeah.
I know you don't watch Marvel movies, and
I don't. I've seen very few of them.
Yeah, and when we're talking about it being derivative and all that, like, this movie is almost, it's like, it almost feels the same as Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. So if you've seen the first Ant-Man, that, they're like, oh, don't mess with your regulator, because then you might start infinitely just shrinking down, and then you'll go into the quantum realm, and we have no idea how to get out of the quantum realm. Well, in Ant-Man 3, they all get sucked into the quantum realm. And it turns out there's a whole society down there, and there's creatures that, are very like Star Wars inspired and everything. And, there's microbiology that is like big characters and stuff. And this is one thing that I know about Elio, is that they didn't want to go the typical route that everybody else would go with, like space creatures and aliens. They didn't want the aliens to look like typical aliens, and instead they focused on making the aliens look like microbiology.
Interesting.
So the designs of all those Aliens is microbiology inspired, and in Ant-Man Quantumania, they're also all microbiology. So it's almost the character designs are almost the same.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that movie. But that kind of follows our point of drawing from the same inspiration pool.
Kind of, but I mean, it's also been a few years since Quantumania came out. Like, they could have retooled it a little bit or whatever, but it's just like, there's also a scene. So in this, we have right when he gets to the Communiverse, they hand him a drink, and it is, what's it called? It is a Glorp. And the little computer vomits it out.
Okay.
It vomits out the Glorp and hands it to him, and he drinks the Glorp, and everybody's drinking the Glorp. They love the Glorp. In Ant-Man Quantumania, there is a character who I can't remember what his name is, but it's almost the same exact thing. You drink the character, and so this is a similar scene too. In Elio, he has to get that little computer chip thing on him so he can understand all the creatures. Same thing in Quantumania, except in that one, you're drinking the Glorp to understand the creatures, and it's not the little computer chip. There's also another big similarity too. You have the villain is trying to take over the whole society and enslave all the people and stuff. That's basically the same story here with Lord Grigon.
Interesting. It sounds like you're verging on nitpick territory here.
Yeah.
So let's maybe move on in to our nitpicks.
Let's slide up into our nitpicks.
Woo! All right.
Nitpicks, come and get your nitpicks.
So one of my nitpicks is the obvious. It was short. I did have the it's over. The credits start. And
it's half a movie.
It was I don't agree with that.
It's half a movie.
It's how long is it? It's an hour. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
I'd say that a kid's movie shouldn't be less than 90 minutes.
I don't think it was, man.
How long is Elio?
Yeah, let's see.
No, it is an hour and 40 minutes, but that's also including credits.
It was breezy. It was breezy for sure.
Well, and the reason for that is, it feels breezy definitely because they don't really flesh out a lot of character arcs. It's kind of just here's the starting point and then here's the ending point, and there's a little bit of fluff in the middle.
Well, we have to remember that these are made with a child audience in mind.
Yeah.
They're made with a family audience, but they're made with a child audience in mind, and they're simple. They're all simple. Even the best ones are pretty simple. As I say that, I'm like, Monsters Inc. isn't simple. No, it is though.
Well, the story is simple. It also Monsters Inc. took them a while to get to the story they wanted to tell. They rewrote it so many times. Yeah. There's so many different versions in their storyboards that could have happened.
I feel like part of it is they have kind of distilled the Pixar-ness into a formula. So whereas it took them a long time to figure out Monsters Inc., they've learned lessons now. It doesn't take them as long to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they're also not getting to a point where the movie is as good as Monsters Inc. That's my problem.
Yes. It's because they have the formula now and they're copy pasting. It's okay, we have the Pixar formula.
And, but now they're getting
Monsters Inc. or whatever.
Yeah, but now they're getting kind of infiltrated by the Disney formula, with your dead parents. Yeah. So here's a list that I have, and this is also a nitpick. Disney movies that have dead parents. Confirmed. So I had to whittle this list down to specifically orphaned characters because there was so many that had dead parents.
No parents.
Yeah, we're going orphans.
Okay.
So apparently Snow White, Cinderella, The Sword and the Stone, Arthur, Mowgli from the Jungle Book, Penny in The Rescuers, Oliver from Oliver and Company, Aladdin, Tarzan, Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Coda from Brother Bear, and Hero and Tadashi from Big Hero 6, and then Todd from The Fox and the Hound. So, this is a typical Disney thing. It hasn't been a traditional Pixar thing. Like the dead parents on Pixar's movies is a much shorter list, much shorter.
Okay.
So
dead Pixar parents.
Pixar parents. We have Finding Nemo. So his mom is dead, but he still has a dad, not orphaned.
Sure.
Onward. The dad is dead. The mom's still alive, still not an orphan.
Pixar likes dead dads, which is Disney likes dead moms.
Yeah,
right?
and at DadToons, we take offense to that, don't we?
Yeah, we don't care for that here at DadToons.
You gotta have live dads.
We like live dads. You lose points when you kill the dad.
Yeah.
On DadToons.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Good Dinosaur, has that Lion King style scene where his dad is basically Lion King that they're going for. It's the same scene. And then Coco, you have a bunch of dead people. But like other than that,
it's all about dead people.
It's all about dead people. That's the whole story, and that's why it works. Other than that, this has not been a traditional Pixar thing. So I'm kind of upset that it's getting infiltrated by this Disney thing. So one of my nitpicks coming off that list was, why does every Disney kid have to be an orphan? Here's a nitpick. Aren't they going to be arrested when they go back to Earth? They should be. They broke into a secure facility and she broke her, security clearance and all of that, like to help aliens.
Yes. I would say that one of my nitpicks is the aunt's job. She because it's kind of unclear what she does, and it's very convenient. It's very convenient.
Oh yeah,
she happens to have this particular job. The Elio is able to walk right in and speak into a microphone and talk to aliens.
Right,
super duper convenient. But it makes sense that he has this alien obsession because his aunt is in this line of work, right? That's how the idea is planted in his head, right? That makes sense.
Well, okay, here's a nitpick. Why? Okay, so he sends the message, hits enter, and the whole place goes blacked out. And then he gets in trouble because he blacked out the whole place. And it's like, how did he do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Nobody
knows, but apparently it was his problem. It was his fault. And he almost got her fired from her job, but he didn't, apparently.
Yeah, almost. The same as,
Yeah, but getting back to your it being so convenient, her job, it's also convenient, and this is another one of my nitpicks, is that later when they're like, we're in a debris field, oh no, and of course that's the exact knowledge that she has. It's like, wait a minute, what I do every day applies to this exact situation.
Yeah, that was lame. That was lame. Yeah, I agree. That's lame.
Another nitpick I have, they used the ripped joke 6 times. It was not that funny. Do I look ripped? Yeah, because it was a joke. It was something that Elio told the aliens. He told the aliens that he was super ripped, right? And then later, when his clone is born, he goes, "Wow, I am ripped." And then same thing with Glordon when he gets a clone. And he's like, "Oh, am I that ripped?" It's like, come on.
Really?
Why is everybody saying this exactly the same way? Maybe they just thought it was funny, but it's just I don't know. It's not that funny.
I didn't flag that as something that annoyed me. So maybe I thought that was funny. I liked the misunderstandings the aliens had. When they would always say, "Okay, bye, I love you." That's very funny.
That was another one of my nitpicks, honestly, that they did that so many times. I mean, it pays off in the end as an emotional thing versus a joke.
I love when they can do that.
I liked it at the beginning when Elio accidentally says it, because he's like, "Oh, I'm talking to, my parents or whatever." Okay, bye, I love you. That was funny, and I did laugh at that one too. But then they just overstay. It overstays its welcome. Maybe because they want that emotional thing to pay off at the end, right? Because like if they don't do it several times, you won't get it.
Maybe. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was funny every time. I liked the vibe of the movie that like were created by the similarities to other things, but the simplicity, I guess, is the simplicity, which I kind of put in the same category as like similarity with other things.
Yeah, just a larger nitpick for me is that Pixar used to make movies that were very, very, the world was very deep and built, and there's tiny little jokes everywhere. I think there's a couple little jokes here that are like just in the visual, environment and everything, but it's like, this just doesn't feel like a classic Pixar movie. It doesn't feel like they really dug into, I don't know, like the
world building.
Like you could have done a lot more with the aliens. You could have seen a lot more places that are, alien. Instead, it's all just kind of in the communiverse, which is just like, I don't know, is it a ship? It's just like a single place. I want to see more of it.
You're right. Like when you think of Toy Story, or even like Monsters Inc.
or Finding Nemo, you see so many different places in the ocean that you never even knew existed.
Yes, and like the world is so detailed. Like with Toy Story, Dinoco, and like it invented so many like little things you see throughout Pixar.
Yeah,
I wonder if there was a Pizza Planet truck in this. I didn't notice. Usually they like hide a Pizza Planet truck in all their movies. I didn't notice it in this one. I wonder. I have to watch one of those YouTube videos that describe all of the instances of
every Easter egg in Elio in 20 seconds. Ding,
ding. Yes.
Well, now that we've talked about our nitpicks, let's get into the fun facts.
Fun facts. So this movie had an interesting background. It has 3 directors. So the original director of this was Adrian Molina. Adrian was the co-director of Coco and the original director of Elio from 2022, and they were let go in 2024. Or not let go. They stopped working on the movie in 2024. This is officially, they stopped working on the movie in 2024. They started this, and it's inspired by their childhood growing up on a military base, which I totally understand that. Like hearing that like that was the seed of the story makes a ton of sense. And it makes a lot of the things that feel convenient, like the aunt's job, make a lot more sense when you know that it's coming from like a personal place. They stepped away mid-production to focus on Coco 2. That's the story.
Yes.
But their credit still remains. And then after that, 2 other directors were brought on. Domi Shi, who was the director of Turning Red, the first woman to solo direct a Pixar feature when she directed Turning Red.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool.
She took over as co-director in August of 2024. The other co-director, Madeline Sharafian. Sharafian? I'm trying my best.
Madeline Sharafian.
She directed the short Burrow in 2020, which was a really good short. I remember watching that on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that one's kind of like hand drawn and everything too, right?
Yeah, so this is her first like feature that she's co-directing. So Elio is the first Pixar feature film with 3 credited directors.
Yes.
And the first led entirely by a new generation of storytellers. No veteran directors or co-directors or supervising directors. So usually there would be like one of the Pixar brain trust involved in some way. Even if they're not a director, they're a co-director or a supervising director. Not on this one. This is like the first where like that original crew.
Well,
like think your Pete Docter, your Lee Unkrinches,
sure,
weren't in the directing team.
Interesting. Well, to be fair, I mean, Domi Shi has been around. I'm looking at her filmography right now. She's been around for a while. She worked first on Inside Out as a story artist. She was a story artist on The Good Dinosaur. She did some stuff on Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4 and Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, Elemental, Inside Out 2, and Elio. So yeah, she's been involved in a lot of these movies recently.
But we're getting to the point where like all the names we remember from Toy Story 1, 2, 3 and like Monsters Inc., like Pete Docter, Lee Unkrich, like where we're not seeing those names anymore. And eventually like Pixar, it's a changing of the tides for Pixar. Has been happening for a while, but maybe this Elio represents a new generation of Pixar, like who weren't in that first crew.
Maybe. I mean, it's not a very good calling card for it though.
Pixar has very high story standards, so I think when this one wasn't fitting up to their story standards, they were like, okay, strip it down, simplify it, and make it look really pretty. And I think they did a good job of that. Those are the funnest facts that I could find. Oh, here's
such a fun movie. Those were not very fun facts.
Here's a fun fact.
Okay.
Ham radio is a hobby that has been popular among nerds for a very long time. And a ham radio is basically, it is a radio that allows you to communicate with people very far away. And it was really cool. Like in the 70s and 80s, before the internet existed, you could talk to people in other countries, strangers from other countries you could talk to. Now that the internet exists, kind of a lot of the novelty of ham radio has worn off, but it's still pretty cool that you can talk to like a similar nerd to you in a different part of the country whenever you want to. A different part of the world, not the country, the world.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about ham radios. So that's a fun ham radio fact.
Okay. Just explaining what ham radio is.
Yeah. Most people probably don't know about that, right?
I mean, if I was a kid and I understood how to, well, okay, ham radio. Here's another connection to other things that it's derivative from. Stranger Things.
Oh yes,
Stranger Things. So you have ham radio.
It makes a little more sense in Stranger Things because I feel like it was more of a thing in the 80s before the internet started to catch on. Because like once the internet exists and you can get on a computer, because I feel like part of the appeal of a ham radio is that you can talk to somebody in Norway or Japan or whatever. But once you have the internet, like
you can do
it. Yeah, you can do that. You don't need a ham radio anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is some things like it's your voice going on radio waves into space and then going down to Norway and talking to some guy who can't understand what you're saying. Like, that's cool. So that's all the fun facts that I have. I hope it was fun for you.
Man, I had so much fun. Yeah, it was totally fun. I've had so much fun. But please, let's go. Does it work?
Okay. All right. Does it work? I'm dancing. I'm swaying.
I like that you always have to describe that you're swaying. Yeah. All right. So does it work? Let's talk about the relationship with the aunt, Olga. Apparently was her name. Olga.
It doesn't work nearly as well as the same dynamic does in Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, because you need that extra stuff at the beginning. You need to see some context as to why she's upset.
When the twist happens and she was on to the clone for a long time, I don't believe it because I feel like I believed so much at the beginning, like, what she says, like at the very beginning and like how frustrated she is with Elio. I feel like she wants to get rid of him. Like, similar to the dad in How to Train Your Dragon, I feel like he was too much of a jerk to redeem himself. I feel like she was too nonchalant. I didn't believe her when she made that turn at the end. It was unearned. So no, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
The science fiction element of the movie, does that work?
Yes, I think that was a strength of this. I was getting Back to the Future vibes. Like it felt like they were channeling Back to the Future. It felt kind of Robert Zemeckis-y, which was cool.
I think they were channeling a lot. They were channeling a lot of different 80s movies, which we talked about a little bit, but like there's certain homages to like specific things. You have like, there's a scene where the little hair that she plucked out of his head to like look at under a microscope, and then it like wiggles away and it's like wiggling back to the clone. That felt to me kind of like The Thing. I think there's like a scene of like something like a part of a body like crawling across the floor or something like that.
I've definitely seen that in movies before. That's definitely a sci-fi thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of the shots. Okay, and when we did our spoiler-free review, I talked about, if your kid likes, creepy, scary things, you might not think about this as like a creepy, scary movie, right? But there are a lot of shots that are like homages of like those old sci-fi movies that the lighting is creepy. The angle is creepy. The way the camera moves is creepy. And so they're really doing a lot of fun homage to those things. And I like that a lot. I think, this is an alien movie. This is a sci-fi movie. They should do that. And I think that's one of the only things for me that worked with this movie was that the homages to all those sci-fi movies.
They had visual homages all over the place.
Yes,
and I think that's part of it. Like, they were just having fun. They were like, we're making a sci-fi movie. What stuff do we like from sci-fi movies? Let's throw that in.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that that's kind of how they were doing it.
Yeah.
Which was fun. Like, if you can get on board with that, like, okay, we're having a fun sci-fi. Oh, I recognize that. Like, that can be fun.
Yeah. Also, that scene where like she pulls off his eye patch and there's no eye, that's definitely like an homage to like some horror movies and sci-fi movies. Same when the clone is like melting. That was really cool. I liked that.
Oh yeah, that felt like Terminator 2.
Yeah, Terminator 2, or even you could
like
think
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. That's what I was gonna say. So I think the science fiction element of this worked really well.
So this is a good time to talk about Pixar makes a lot of sci-fi movies. So I was wondering like how many of their movies are sci-fi. So there's out of 29 total Pixar movies, 5 of them are sci-fi definitively.
Can I wait, let me try and guess. Wall-E, Lightyear, Ratatouille.
Issue with it. But no, I'm gonna take issue with it. I think there's some that it excluded, and we'll talk about it.
But Incredibles is kind of sci-fi.
Yes, Incredibles is sci-fi. Yeah, according to AI. Yeah,
you said call Cars sci-fi.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So according to ChatGPT, the 5 definitive sci-fi Pixar movies are WALL-E, Lightyear, Elio, The Incredibles, and The Incredibles 2.
Okay.
Which is 18% of their catalog. So that's almost 20% of their movies are sci-fi.
Yeah.
That was interesting to me. And then, yes, the argument could be made, I think, that Cars and Toy Story are sci-fi. Toy Story is about sentient toys. That's sci-fi.
Yeah. Are we calling it science fiction, or are we calling it like, it's kind of like magic though. So
I guess
are they magical talking toys, or is it science fiction? Like,
I guess they've never explained it. So, so I guess it's magic. I guess you have to say it's magic.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. And if you count Toy Story and Cars, like the percentage goes way up. So
you could call Monsters Incorporated sci-fi too, and Monsters University.
I don't know. That seems more believable as fantasy to me, but there's right.
Science in it though. They're talking about the science of the screams and the energy and laughs. Are more powerful than screams.
That's almost more sci-fi than. I mean, The Incredibles, it's a superhero movie. I guess it definitely is sci-fi.
There's sci-fi elements. Yeah.
It's got supervillains and stuff. So it's weird that almost 20% of their movies are sci-fi. I don't know. That it's like they're Disney's sci-fi studio to a degree. And yeah, you could argue that even more of them are sci-fi.
Yeah.
Elemental.
Oh yeah, you could call Elemental sci-fi or magic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do want to talk also when we're talking about does it work? The resolution of the plot, does that work? Basically what happens is, Glordon accidentally ends up on Earth. His chip thing is broken, so then he's too cold, and so it's an ET moment where they have to like send him back to the communiverse because he's gonna die. So they send him back, and the bad guy, his father, he sees him dying, and he comes out of his carapace, is what they called them.
I liked that part. That got to me. That hit me in the feels.
Oh, did you cry?
When he got out of so I didn't cry. So yeah, I made a short where I said, "Will I cry?" Yeah. I didn't cry.
You didn't cry at all?
No, I didn't cry at all. But it got me.
That should make you subtract a point.
Well, I think the reason I didn't cry was because I thought it was funny. Like I was laughing a lot of the time. It was light. Like, and then when it had the like heavy moments, I don't know, it wasn't enough to bring me down to crying. You know what I mean?
Well, essentially, so yeah, the bad guy is defeated by love, right? The power of love. And so
power of love. It's the power of love. It's very Back to the Future.
Tony money, Tony nothing. Tony no credit card to ride on this train. So anyways, defeated by the power of love. So I like made a list of movies where the villain is defeated by the power of love.
Oh, love it.
So Frozen, Elsa's icy powers neutralized when Anna sacrifices herself out of sisterly love, breaking the curse. Beauty and the Beast, we know that one. Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Kiara convinces both prides to stop fighting by choosing love over vengeance.
That's like a Romeo and Juliet, except they don't die.
Yeah. Entangled, Flynn's love motivates him to sacrifice himself, which prompts Rapunzel's healing tears. And then you have Inside Out. Riley's inner turmoil is resolved through love and support by her parents. So, I mean, that's
the only one that like works. It's the only one where like it should be that.
Yeah.
Because it's all about emotions.
And those are all just like the animated family films, honestly. Like, cause we have, there's a million other movies that we could talk about too. There's how the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Grinch is vanquished by, Cindy Lou Who's love. Despicable Me, that's actually another family film that we could talk about too. But then there's just there's a lot of them. So
well, an interesting thing is one that doesn't count is Back to the Future, which is where that song comes from.
Yeah, the main
of love
opening scene.
That's not what the movie's about.
I don't know. You could argue. I know we've talked about that in the past.
We have.
You could argue that the power of love. You could argue that it is about the power of love, because the power of love is what makes Marty be able to come back to the future and not be dead, not be wiped from existence.
You could argue about it, and maybe that would be a good video for us to make. Click here.
When we do it in the near future. When we get back to the future.
Back, yeah. Okay.
I want to talk real quick about where do we place this in our kind of Pixar rankings. So I prompted you to go and just think about all the Pixar movies. There's 29 of them now. This is the 29th. Where does this fall in your rankings? What is above it and what is below it?
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so this was from my gut. I swear to God. Okay. Just above it is Lightyear.
Oh, interesting.
Just below it is Turning Red.
Why do you have Turning Red so low? You don't like Turning Red.
I liked it. So that's a disclaimer I want to make. I liked all the movies on my Pixar list with the exception of the one that's last.
Good Dinosaur, which is also last on my list.
Yes.
I'll say we have a similarity here. Lightyear is just above Elio on my list as well.
Oh, that I'm surprised by that. I thought you liked Lightyear a lot.
Well, my son really likes Lightyear, and I've seen it about 100,000 times. So I know all the in-depth, nitty-gritty details of that, and I know the plot inconsistencies and the plot holes. So yeah, but I do think these are both space movies, right? There's only 3 Pixar space movies. There's WALL-E, there's Lightyear, and there's Elio. And I think Lightyear does a better job with space in regards to space.
Well, it's totally different. It's like realistic, and Elio is silly.
There's a lot of things that Lightyear does when it comes to sci-fi and space that I think they should have done with Elio. There's not as much like, adventure qualities, you're not exploring different places. You're not getting a bunch of different cool, like there's not a lot of cool ships. I will say I did like how the ships that they had in this were kind of nonsensical and silly, but that also is a derivative kind of thing that reminds me of Ant-Man as well, because they have ships that are nonsensical. You got to like stick your hands in goo and just like pull on them and yank them to get the thing to fly.
I gotta watch that. So I don't typically watch Marvel movies, but I like Ant-Man. Like I liked the first one, and the second one I don't remember it super well. I think it had a lot to do with movies that I hadn't seen.
Well, the funny thing is they called Ant-Man Quantumania derivative, and they also that's the one people like the least. I think they were trying to world build a lot, and they were trying to build up Kang as this big villain that's going to be like the next Thanos. But then we had a whole situation where the actor who plays Kang got ousted because he did some bad things. And
I don't know about any of that stuff. This is all news to me.
Yeah, and apparently Disney had a contract with him that said that he was the only person who could play Kang, which is a really weird thing for Disney to do. It's very strange. Weird. Anyways, I do think that Lightyear did a better job when it came to space, and I do think they did a better job with telling a cohesive story from beginning to end. I just think this... To me, this feels like half a movie. It feels like it's very abrupt how things get resolved, and I just want more from it,
I agree that I want more from it. I feel like it was really simple. I don't feel like it was half a movie. I feel like it was basic, which makes it was basic but not dumb. Like a lot of movies can be basic and dumb, and like I don't want to show my kids because I don't want their brain to be full of mashed potatoes. But this is basic. Like it'll entertain him, but it's not dumb. I don't feel like it's making him dumb. I feel like there's enough for him to absorb in this. Like I feel like it's entertaining, and like the attention to detail in the animation that I think is like a signature of Pixar, that's here. And if you're a kid and your face is right up next to a giant TV, like that's exciting. So
out of the 29, like what is the number that Elio landed in your rankings?
22.
22. Okay. Well, it's not that much higher than mine, which is 25 out of 29.
Oh, that's pretty low.
That's low. It is in the bottom 5.
So do you want to know the movie that shares that space on my list? It's Finding Dory.
Finding Dory is the one I have just below Elio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe our lists wouldn't be as different as I think.
Maybe not. I think we'll talk in the future about specifically. Let's like rank all the Pixar movies and talk about
a Pixar movie tier list battle.
Yeah.
Well, our tier list for battle is there you go. Yeah. Like I'm getting used to being a movie critic. I'm learning how to be a movie critic, and I learned that sometimes a number just slides into my mind, like as soon as I'm done watching the movie, and sometimes it doesn't. This is one where it doesn't, so I had to think about it, which I don't like to do. I don't like to think about things. So I'll just say the number that I gave it, and then you can. So I gave it a 6.
Okay.
0.5. 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
All right, so that's just above average. I'm giving.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It gave me like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like a excited feeling, like moving forward, looking at the screen, looking up and smiling, kind of
like
feeling.
a little kid. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
that's great.
And I don't get that from a lot of stuff, so that's points.
Yeah, I was just personally, I was kind of bummed out coming out of the movie because I felt like I didn't get as much as I paid for. You know what I mean? You go into a Pixar movie and you got to have high expectations. They've set such a high bar, right?
Yes.
When it comes to an emotionally resonant story, like, Finding Nemo just works out of the box. You don't really have to like try and like it or try and make it work because it just works. The emotions are all there. It just didn't hit for me. I felt like it was cheap. I gave the good pacing. I gave that a 0 because I don't think it was paced well at all. Rewatchability, I gave it a half point because my son wants to see it again. But he also doesn't like really care too much. I gave it a 0 in emotional impact because I don't think the emotional impact really worked on me. I think them killing off his parents was kind of them trying to like make it an easy way for us to, sympathize with this kid and like make that emotional story hit. So that was a cheap way to go.
To me, the emotional impact didn't work because the tone was silly. So when they tried to make it like serious, it didn't work.
Right.
Because so much of the movie was silly and funny.
And I feel goofy. I feel like we get a tiny bit of him reminiscing about his parents, but like not a lot, not enough for us to like care about him losing his parents.
Yeah.
They should have shown a little bit more of that. So anyways, my total score, I'm coming out around a 5.5.
That's better than I thought you were going to give it.
It's about average.
I'd say it's fair to say we think this movie is pretty middling.
Yes, definitely middling. Definitely lower mid-tier Pixar. Which is unfortunate. I want every Pixar movie to be absolutely exceptional. This one, it has a lot of good stuff about it. It has a lot of good elements. I just don't think they add up to like a good movie personally.
For me personally, I love Aliens. Like the tone of this movie was like totally like ringing my bell, It was strumming my chord, like just the tone of this movie. And like I was relating to Elio. So I think on a real personal level, I liked it. Like if you are exactly like me and you like all the things I like, then
so if you're Braden,
then you'll like it. Yeah.
You will like it enough to give it an average score.
Well, no, I recommend you go see it. If you're exactly like me, I think you should go see it.
All right, so we gave our scores. Did you have a favorite frame in this movie?
I really enjoyed the part where time freezes right before he's about to get punched in the face.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was definitely good.
So probably like right when he's about to get punched in the face, right when there's a fist coming right at his bop. I enjoyed that.
Okay, that's good. My favorite frame was exactly 76 minutes in.
Okay.
You see so we didn't even talk about this little small character here, but the goofy, nerdy scientist guy at the beginning they kick out because they're like, we're not doing that. That's not what we're just tracking garbage in space. And they kick him out. That whole scene was weird, but Either way, they bring him back at the end, and he's like on he's on the ham radio, and he's very into helping out Elio and his aunt. As we're leaving that scene, the camera pans behind his laptop, and he has a sticker that says "Masters of Ham," and it has a big ham on it.
Oh, wait, is it Ham from Toy Story?
No, it's just ham. Oh. It's just like a big, ham.
I noticed
a big ball of meat, a ham.
That's funny.
All right, so we have a favorite frame. What's your favorite line in the movie?
There are so many excellent lines from Glordon. He's definitely my favorite character in the movie. But there's the scene where Elio is like imprisoned underneath. What's Brad Garrett's name?
Lord Grigon.
Lord Grigon.
Lord Grigon.
Lord Grigon.
Let's hear, like, what are some other Brad Garrett characters that you could do impressions of?
Oh, Ray. The potato salad, Ray.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Why'd somebody eat all the potato salad?
Everybody loves Raymond. Oh, Ma.
Oh, Ma. Oh.
There you go.
That's a good my Brad Garrett isn't as good as my Ray Romano.
Deborah.
Oh, what is
that? Kind of Kermit the Frog. It's like slightly Kermit the Frog.
Oh, it's definitely got a little bit of Kermit the Frog. Yeah. There's one line that was like in an Everybody Loves Raymond promo, and it's always stuck in my head. Okay. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it. You're 2 pickles short of a potato salad, or something like that.
2 pickles.
I can't remember.
That's a great 2 pickles short of a potato salad.
Ah, come on! I thought everybody loved me. Guys.
Guys, come on! It's my wife.
My wife, Deborah.
So my favorite line is, I don't remember it exactly, but it was when Glordon reveals that Lord Grigon is his dad.
Okay.
Like, because he's like super casually like, oh yeah, my dad feels this way about it. And then Elio's like, wait, he's your dad? And then like how helpful Glordon is about like overthrowing his dad. I loved all of that. So good. So my favorite line was everything Glordon said, but especially when he casually revealed that the worst guy in the universe is his dad.
There was a line he had where he said, well, his dad asks him what he's doing there, and he says, I'm being a bargaining chip.
I'm a bargaining chip. Yes, that was great.
And they're like, don't say that. And he's like, oh, sorry. Oh no, Dad, help me. So thank you for joining us for this full spoiler review of Elio. I hope you enjoyed it.
Tell us your Pixar tier list, or at the very least, tell us where this falls. Like, what is right ahead of this and what is right behind this in your Pixar ranking. Yeah, that would be interesting to hear.
And as they say many, many times in Elio, okay, bye, I love you.
DadToons, grab a snack and you can sit down. Watch some daddies talking about animation now. Tell you what they like and what they also didn't too. DadToons about to hit you with a great review. Hey!